But in this case, I found this great raven, and we also combined it. I combined it with this spooky background of this tree, and let's have some fun with this, okay? Or try and learn how to draw a bird maybe tonight. I think that would be an exciting thing to give a try at. All right. So first thing, let's. I think what's going to be key in this is, well, they're all the aspects, but let's talk about a bird's head for a minute before we get into our drawing. And I'm going to just make that a little bit smaller here. And so I want you to walk with me through the process of drawing a bird's head. So let's start off with a sphere here. In fact, let's maybe do another one. And we'll do a third one down here, okay? We'll go with 3. And this one I'm going to label A, B, and C. All right, let's start with a center line. So we're going to start with the center line over here in A, like this. B we'll make a center line going like this. And C we'll do something like that, okay? So if you were to think of, here, let's draw this. Let me show this to you first here. Add this to your page here. Let's just draw this idea of a square, of a rectangle that's on the ground. Then see those two corners right there? Let's just draw like an arch that's going to connect those two. And then over here, let's do the same thing, another arch. Just like that. Let's connect the top of those arches just like that, okay? And then we'll do this right down the center there. And this is kind of the general shape of a bird's head. And then the eye is going to be over here, okay? That's a general shape of a bird's head, okay? So let's come into these 3 here and kind of work this out a little bit so we can practice just a little bit. So this will be the kind of the bottom part of the beak in A. And that will be the bottom part of the beak in B. And here's the bottom part of the beak in C. Okay, so that's the direction of A. That's kind of the direction of B. And there's C. So now in A, it's almost like we're gonna slice off side part of the sphere here. So we're gonna do this sort of thing. And the same thing as over there. Let's come down here to B and do the same thing. And then we'll do the same thing for C as well. All right, let's add a beak starting with A. So the beak is going to be almost like this, something like this. We're going to come out in the same direction here. I'm going to turn this light off over here and plug this in. Hold on. Need some light. There's. All right. All right, let's continue. In B here, we'll do this sort of thing. Almost as wide as the head there. Nice sweeping. I'm using my elbow for these nice easy little sweeping lines, okay? And let's look at C as well here. We'll come down just like this. Okay. All right, so then the side of the head is going to be straight like that. This side's going to come through like this. And this one's going to come through like this. All right, so now you got the eyeball. All right, so if I look at my picture of my raven, now we've changed the head. We're just practicing here. Just kind of, at this stage, we're just trying to get a little familiar with a head. All right, so look at this. This part comes like this. See that part on his beak? Same thing down here. This is gonna. And we're going to add a little dark area here the eyeball. We'll put those little highlights toward the top. I think this is more back here a little bit. Yeah, then we're going to come down. You can kind of get a feel for how that head goes right into the body there. Same thing for up here. All right, so there you go. So there's three different heads we threw together just now. Just kind of show you the construction, because you know, when I draw, I think it is far more important for you to understand the construction of something other than for us just to copy shape. Now, what I mean by that is if you start to think of the construction or the mass or the volume of something, it allows you to draw and change an animal or change something from a different perspective. For example, what we just did, I just showed you how to draw I had a reference. This was my reference. And so based upon that reference, we were able to spin the head from different angles. Now, you can only do this if you understand learning how to draw with construction or mass. If you only learn to draw shape, using shape, then you're going to be stuck with what you always see all the time. And I want you to use shape, but I also want you to use construction. So when we start coming at something with using shape and vertical and horizontal lines, negative space, mass or volume, and contrast and value, man, that really sets you up for success. Hey, Russell, what is up, my friend? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to erase all those and bring in my picture again because I keep drawing on the wrong layer. And let's start getting into business here, okay? All right, first thing I'm going to do, I am definitely going to use a square here as my basis. Use this as a as your basis here. Now let's make this a little bit easier for ourselves, okay? Let's make it a little bit easier for ourselves. So first thing I want you to do is, before we start drawing construction, I want you to break your page down, or your frame, into like it's a large area. Let's bust that down to be a little bit smaller, okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. So if I'm looking at this picture here, look at this. You see that angle right there? So that's a good angle to think of. So let's look at our square here and try and match lightly now. Try and match that angle. Okay, let's do the other angle now. Let's just kind of come in like this. Look at this. Okay, that's going to work for me. All right, let's do that. So it's at a slight. So this is going to help to start to break up. Hey, I've been looking forward to. Oh, good, Joe. I'm glad. So this is going to help us to start to at least get the general proportion down. And then we'll switch over and start going after some construction, okay? All right, look at this. This is a great, look at that great shape right there. All right, so let's put that into our page. And draw this lightly, okay? Keep it light. And then down here, look at this. This is, you see where this, you see where I'm getting that shape from? So what we're doing is trying to break down the negative shape. You're almost, if you think of it like you're almost like a sculptor and you're carving away all the stuff you don't need. It's kind of what we're doing here. Okay, let's just kind of gesture in where we think these legs are going to go. Branches coming in from the bottom, and okay, it's kind of circling around there. Look at that. And then I'm going to thicken it up just a little bit, just like that. All right, I'm going to take away the red stuff now. Now we have our drawing that we could start to draw some construction, okay? See, this is going to help give us a little bit more guidance. So let's start off with this. And we might have to adjust a little bit, but start off with a sphere. And, you know, when I observe this raven, his head is tilting towards us a little bit. So let's kind of draw that eye line first. And there's a possibility that we might epically fail tonight. And you'll think, I'm never going to watch that guy again. But hey, you know what? Listen, at least we failed together. That's what I like to say, right? All right. All right, let's kind of get this a little bit of a direction for this beak coming out of his head. And I'm just kind of, I'm using a couple straight lines here. All right, this is the side of his head here. And I hope that didn't confuse you. All right, let's put a line. This line for his beak is a little bit below his eye. Do you see that? All right, let's use a vertical measurement. Now, when I say a vertical measurement, that means using a vertical line to see if our proportion is squared up. And this is where I want to use that line, okay? This is key to me. So I'm going to draw a vertical line right there so that I could kind of get an idea of where this leg is. All right, so look at where my leg is. My leg right now, where it's coming to the body, is lining up with the back of his head, and look how off that is. You see that? So if I'm going to follow my drawing, actually, that vertical line should be way over here. So this, look how off I am. See, this happens. So I'm going to get rid of this altogether here. And you might have to, this is where you might have to make a similar adjustment in yours. Okay, so then if this is that vertical line, look at that. That other claw lines up. Woo-wee, was I off. Whose fault is that? Look how off I was. But this is good. This is actually quite good because you could see that it's important to make adjustments as you're going along. All right, so there's his underbelly. You see that? All right, and then the top of his head is almost like straight. All right, let's take a look at a vertical line now. Let's say we're going to go right here at this. All right, that gives us a sense of where that's lining up there. Okay, so wow, I am just cannot believe how off I am. You got off too, huh? Well, you're following me, so I blame myself, Joe. Okay, so let's look at that round part of that wing. Where is that lining up with? All right, right. Okay, so there's a vertical there. Okay. It's all part of our construction. Okay, that looks better. So we use horizontal alignments and vertical alignments. We also use negative space. So let's take a look at some negative space here that I see. So look at this underbelly here. You see this? See all that negative space? I want to try and capture that, all right? So if this is, my wing's gonna have to be a little bit larger. And I'm just kind of looking at the outline shape of the wing right now. And then the last negative area I want to help as I'm thinking about this is this. Look at this right here. Here's another negative shape. You see that? That's a good shape to look for. I know. I know that I've completely drawn outside of my box, but you know, hopefully you will have extra room on your sketch pad if you need to make an adjustment. Okay, let's come back up to this head here now. And make some new adjustments to this. So head is more flat, I'm looking at. Curved beak. Look at these feathers underneath his head here. And this pattern keeps going right around. You see that? And then it comes around like a, his head is kind of leaning in on that. Okay, I'm going to squint my eyes here. and get some tone in the darkest areas. And I'm going to look closely and make sure that I had some more tone, but I want to make sure I leave the lightest areas, the white of the page, for right now. Okay, I'm going to go in now and I'm going to really punch in my dark darks. Just keep making small adjustments if you have to. Okay, I'm going back in and adding another level of value. Not really thinking of feathers, I'm just keep thinking of value here. Just keep adding more value. I'm going to add a little detail here in the wings. I'm not really thinking of outlining the wings, just where I see the shadow. Change of value. And look at this. This is interesting. I want to show this to you. Look at this area right here. You see this? Okay, now I'm going to take that away. And look how this has a dark value right in there. You see, this is almost like an ellipse. You know, it's like if you sliced a piece like this. You see? So think of that when you are adding those feathers. Okay. Let's think of these claws here. These claws are kind of coming down like this. You see? And then the main one, the middle one, is kind of coming down like this. Oops. Get that little overlap right there. That's important. And then it curves around like this. This is not a bad thing to do, to practice this on the side of your drawing here. Okay, let's see now. Let's get this in here. Okay, and the other one is coming back and jets forward. Can't see to get those claws down. All right, good question. Let's look at those. Let's go over those again, okay? All right, Joe. Let's gesture. Single line coming out like this. Then just do that. just gesture where they're going to go. Just like that. Other leg, straight down, and then gesture again. Comes in. Something like that. Okay. Let's go to the top. Slight taper. And let's get that middle one first. It's bulbish here and then swings around. This is going to have some surface lines. Get that claw. And we got another one there. Best thing about live draw is we could quickly take a look at something. Okay, let's get this other one back here. All right, I'm going to come in here now and kind of think about this branch that he's standing on. The thing is, when you're drawing wood too, you want to use this idea of sometimes that idea. You see that? Where you're using a T or a Y to create depth. And try and stay away from perfectly parallel, but you want to mix it up just a little bit. Then it will seem much more natural. Let's add some surface lines there. And then we'll add some surface lines here. Go slowly. Give as much attention to this as that branch as you would any other. Give it just as much attention as you would with any other piece of this drawing here. All right, let's work on that. Let's work on some of those trees in the back here in the next 10 minutes or so, okay? So I'm going to draw this lightly here. I'm not going to go too dark because I want it to look like it's in the background, all right? So let's just look for I'm going to try and keep this as soft as possible. slowly following the course of some of these trunks, tree trunks, branches, keeping it light. Now, one thing I do want to say is don't be so critical. Don't be so critical on the way your drawing looks tonight. Why do I say that? Well, drawing is hard. It takes a long time. Sometimes a long time until you see some real confidence that you grow. But the best thing you could do is being here. That is the best. That is the best thing you could do for your drawing, is to keep drawing and be here amongst friends as we work through the details. That's it. Oh, thanks, Russell. So all I'm doing is adding value. Trying to keep the background as light as possible. If you're drawing these trees in the background, don't draw them so even. Get a lot of like the thick branch, get a lot of the small branches together in one area, to where the idea, it would be like painful to walk through there. You'd get stuck with it, and then leave some open space, random. To Russell and Joe's comment regarding just they like what I've been drawing, I do want to say this, that you must remember that I've had 30 years of experience of drawing. Is it 30? Yeah, probably about 30 off and on. So that's where it's just a lot of times you just can't compare yourself to people out there, because it's unfair. The longer you draw, the better you get at it. It just goes that way. But I'll tell you what, I'm here for the journey so we can help each other out, right? Look at this. Look at this. I just caught a problem on mine. Look at you catch things as you keep drawing. I got to show this to you here. Look how bright the value is on those two wings. Compare that to the value that's in this area. You see? So in my drawing right now, the breast area of the bird is much too light. So I need to come in and tone that back. Just a little bit. There, now I've caused the wing to come forward. You see that? Good. All right, Pamela, I love what you just said. You found that you were outlining the trees. No, just think of them as almost shape. Good, and you erase the outline. Yeah, let them be. When you get down to the twigs, those are more of like a single line, but I'm glad you get rid of some of that outline and think of it as mass. One of the other things too is when I'm sketching, I like to think of like, oh, I could use a straight line here, and then I could use a slight curve here. Or if I'm trying to draw a curve, sometimes I could just do that by using two straight lines. You see that? And of course, when I am drawing, I'm pushing down and automatically I'm pulling up. That gives me a nice taper in my line. All right, I think that's going to do it tonight. We've come up on our hour here. That has been gone a lot quicker than I thought. But I just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. We had a little shaky start there, but we seem to pull it out of a nosedive. Listen, if you're new watching this channel and you're still here, I just want to encourage you to join our Facebook group. Link is down in the description. We have such a great community of people to help and support. That's what we're doing here, is to help everyone just get better at drawing, okay? But I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching this a little bit later. Do like the video, please, and give a comment. Join one of our classes. The Daily Draw is a great one. And all that information is down in the description, okay? So, listen. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this has been Monday Night Live. We get together and draw every night, every Monday night and Wednesday night. So, good night, everyone. Thanks, Russell. I see you. Thank you, Betsy. You better believe it. See you guys tomorrow, okay? All right. Bye-bye.